Well, it's harvest time in Thunder Valley. 35 laps to go. Brad Keselowski has opened up 2 car lengths on Matt Kenseth, and that gap comes and goes as Keselowski tries to put the 39 of Ryan Newman 1 lap down.
You know, the saving grace for these drivers on fuel, and we know that a lot of them are flirting with possibly being close on fuel, Darrell. I see the race pace really slowing down right now. Of course, when the pace slows down, you use less fuel.
Yeah, and I believe this fuel injection system will use a little less on a track like this too, because you don't see the fire and the flames coming out the tailpipe, which means they're not using excessive fuel. That could be a big advantage as well.
Jeff Gordon back in the race, 104 laps down after getting into a skirmish with his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. and cutting down a tire. So of the top 10, 8 drivers might have a question on fuel. How about Earnhardt's strategy, Steve?
Big question mark, Mike. Steve Letarte just told Dale Earnhardt Jr. you need to save me about 3 laps if you can. If you need to, let the 56 go.
Well, that's no longer a battle, Steve, because Martin Truex Jr. in the 56, we know he can make it, just drove by Dale Earnhardt Jr.
All the MWR Toyotas, 3rd, 4th, and 5th now, led by Clint Bowyer in 3rd. We listened in on Bowyer.
I told you to save gas. I am. That's the beauty of it. Good job, man. Great job driving off.
He is 5.5 seconds out of the lead, but a second ahead of the 4th place car.
And really, it's probably easier to save gas here than it is anywhere, because it's all about throttle management. Get off the gas, you're not burning fuel. Squeeze it down, don't get it wide open until a little short 650-foot straightaway. You're saving fuel.
And last week at Las Vegas, Clint Bowyer, Brian Patty stayed out, stretched their fuel, ended up with a 6th place finish.
Well, anybody who thinks this is an economy run has only to look at the 2 leaders, because here comes Kenseth right back to the outside as Keselowski worked the bottom and they lapped past Dave Blaney. They got past Joey Logano and Ryan Newman. Casey Mears is the next, and then Kevin Harvick is the next lead lap car ahead in 14th place.
I think Keselowski's got a little something figured out, at least for his car. He runs the bottom of 1 and 2. Then he runs high in 3 and 4. Sunlight maybe has something to do with that. Maybe it's a little sunnier in 1 and 2 and a little shaded in 3 and 4. I don't know, but something makes him think he needs to run 2 different lines.
And with 25 laps to go, there'll be no relief on traffic. It looks like a conveyor belt of race cars out there right now.
And I might add that concrete is not as sensitive as asphalt. It doesn't change as dramatically as an asphalt track would when the sun's in, sun's out.
25 to go and traffic ahead. Bobby Labonte, David Rudiman, Juan Pablo Montoya up there ahead of our leaders, along with Kevin Harvick and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Menard and Harvick, 2 drivers still on the lead lap.
We'll keep you side by side and follow this lead battle with 23 laps to go in Bristol. Car in the wall, Tony Stewart, turn 3, bounces off it, keeps going. Caution waves. 5th caution of the day is out. Tony Stewart slammed the wall after contact from Brendan Gaughan. Some of the leaders pit. Here's a look at what happened from Jimmy Johnson's view.
Yeah, it just looked like smoke was going by on the outside, and Brendan Gaughan in the 33 just drove up into him. See right here, I mean, Brendan's down on the bottom somewhat. Tony goes by on the outside. Tony been running real high into that turn.
Stewart was lapping the 33 and ends up with some pretty heavy right side damage. Had quite a number of cars pit, all but the first 3, it appears.
Yeah,
first 4.
First 4, yeah. I think Brad Keselowski, Matt Kenseth, Brian Vickers, and Martin Truex Jr. in the 56, those 4 drivers stayed out that time.
I think the big decision here is going to be for Brad Keselowski. Standing out's the right thing to do. They really kind of got to play the cards are handed, but he needs to start on the outside because he's tried that starting on the inside, and that don't work.
Oh boy, Dale Jr. too fast entering the pits. Matt?
And Mike, exactly what DW is talking about. Keselowski just said, boy, what a decision. I don't know whether to take the bottom on the restart or the top. He asked Joey Meyer where he thought Kenseth would be best. He said going into 1, middle to high is where Kenseth was better, but you need to make the choice of where you want to be going into turn 3.
Darrell, where do you want to be if you're the leader?
Based on everything I've seen yesterday and today, outside.
Michael?
The bottom if I'm Brad. The bottom for Brad. He's been better down there. Matt's gone up high and can't do anything with him. He took the bottom earlier. Maybe the bottom for Brad. But Darrell, what huge pit calls these guys just had to make. Stay out, pit. What are you going to do? The first guy with tires is Clint Boyer in 5th. He could be a factor before they throw this checkered.
Well, he could be, but based on what I've seen, and I watched the race yesterday, tires are not near as important. Track position is king.
I would agree with that, Darrell, with the exception our top 3 drivers have 155 laps on their tires. That is a lot.
It is, but just based on what I've seen, I've got to go with staying out.
Well, what did Keselowski's group have to say about this decision?
Tell me what you're thinking, Paul, because I got no clue what to do here. They're going to do the opposite of what we do, you know? Yep. We need to just stay out here, man. Make them pass us. I believe we're going to stay out. By the time we get going, there's only going to be about 19, 18 laps to go. Okay, that's fine. I'm just making sure. Lap times look good, man. Just got to keep working them over.
Ready for the restart. On worn tires, Keselowski, Kenseth, Vickers, and Truex.
It was real borderline again here on the restart as to who beat who.
It looked like that 17 beat the 2 to the line again to me.
And here comes Boyer, pounding the bottom on fresh tires in the 15.
But now just remember, Martin Truex Jr. in that 56, he even has fresher tires than Keselowski and Kenseth.
By 25 laps, correct. Vickers gives way to teammate Boyer, but Burton and Menard following him on the bottom. 15 to go.
Right now, Clint Boyer in the 15 is having a time with his teammate Brian Vickers in the 55. I think he may clear him. No, Vickers gets the run on the high side.
And all those drivers with fresh tires are going to use them up trying to get to the front.
You're just in a roadblock, and the tires just can't overcome what you lose while you're trying to get by people.
And up front, same old story. Brad Keselowski, the leader. Matt Kenseth trying to stay with him to have a late race charge at the win.
Now, what might play into some of these guys with tires hands, if we should have another caution, that could be possibly an advantage, but I just don't see it right now.
Only 10 cars on the lead lap.
You're going to have
3 have scooted away, Darrell.
And you're going to have pretty smooth sailing. I mean, this restart, there's not a lot of traffic going to have to deal with. So Keselowski is looking pretty darn good at this point.
Right now, he and Matt Kenseth, their times on the stopwatch pretty much mirroring each other each lap.
Yeah, and then if you go back very far, then those guys back behind them are a tenth or 2 off of what they're able to run. So I've just seen it over and over the last year or so. Track position is more important than 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, the Hungry Hounds are from 4th place on back. Clint Boyer has now established himself in 4th over Vickers, Menard, Burton side by side. But look at the distance with 9 to go.
This is when you're just holding your breath. Please, please, guys, don't run over anything or anybody. Let me just get this thing to the house. I'm coming home.
All these are for position. Menard, the 27 in 7th. McMurray 8th. Montoya 9th. Jimmy Johnson 10th.
Right now, your tongue is hanging out. You've driven your guts out all day long and you're worn out. Just don't make a mistake.
And still in the fight, Harvick, Biffle, Newman, Earnhardt, and Stewart. Those are the lead lap cars.
And that has been a fight for Kevin Harvick in that 29 car.
Last time by, both 2 and 17 ran identical lap times.
Actually, about the top 4 drivers.
Yeah, kind of lay a blanket over them.
7 laps to go. 1st, 2nd, and 5th with the least amount of Sunoco in the tank. That's Keselowski, Kenseth, and Vickers. 1st, 2nd, and 5th.
You know, a year ago, we were not even talking about Brad Keselowski, and he won our final race, NASCAR on Fox, on fuel mileage at Kansas, and it has been game on.
Yeah, and everybody was saying, well, you know, Penske's going to change the Ford next year, and what are they going to do the rest of this year? Well, they're just going to go out and do what they always do, try to win races and try to win this championship. That's the Penske style.
laps to go. Jimmy Johnson battling Menard, and the 29 of Harvick. Those are lead lap cars.
All right, this is it right here. If Matt Kenseth has got anything for Brad Keselowski, it's time to step up.
And he is, Darrell, but he's knocking off hundredths a lap, not tenths a lap of that lead. It's 6 car lengths. Might as well be 6 miles right now.
That 2 car out front by itself, running the track where he wants to, high, low. He's got it cruise. If he can get back to the line here without another incident.
Might be a lapper. Brendan Gaughan and maybe Carl Edwards between Keselowski and the finish line.
White flag in the air. 1 to go.
You're clear. 5 down. Go ahead a minute. You're nervous. Don't worry. It's got plenty of fuel.
Dale Jr. off the pace. And here comes Brad Keselowski for Roger Penske. 5th career Sprint Cup victory in 93 starts. Keselowski wins the Food City 500.
Nice job, man. Great drive.
And Brian Vickers, in his return here in 2012, gets a top 5 finish, finishes 5th.
5-5-5.
Martin Truex led a Michael Waltrip Racing sweep of 3rd through 5th. Truex, Boyer, Vickers behind Keselowski's Dodge and Kenseth's Ford. Top Chevy was Burton in 6th.
They need the flag here.
Then McMurray, Montoya, Johnson, and Menard. Keselowski led 4 times today for nearly half the race, including the final 111 laps.
Yeah, once he got that thing out front, he was pretty hard to deal with.
Darrell, there's just something about that blue deuce in Bristol. It doesn't seem to matter who drives.
It really doesn't, does it? Well, I like this. I like Paul Wolf as a crew chief. Brad is on his game. This is a good little race team right here.
Now, Roger Penske has had a 2-car NASCAR team for a long time now. This is his 10th Bristol win, and all 10 of them have come with the deuce. Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski.